Hi, my name is Steve Yde. I'm with the Sauk Valley Education Forum. We're going to have a Meet the Candidates event coming up in January, but first we're interviewing them all. And with me today is Robert Zadek. Robert is running for the U.S. Senate. He's gotten 12 questions beforehand, like all the candidates did, and we're going to go through and ask them. And Robert was running as a Republican, but now you're running as an independent.
I'm an independent, conservative independent.
Okay, go ahead and explain why.
And we were running as a Republican. We started out running as a Republican. And then things started to go a little bit different in the Republican Party compared to what my values are and my conservative values are. And I talked to about 25,000 people in the state of Illinois, including those over at the Bears parties that they have before their games. And they're most interested in having an independent candidate run because of the problems that the state of Illinois has had with both Republicans and Democrats. So they're most eager to wrap their arms around an independent candidate. And this is what I wanted to do in the beginning. We know that there's a lot of signatures that you have to get as an independent. There's 25,000 compared to the 5,000 if you're with a Republican or Democrat. But we have a team in place. There are 4 people that have left their jobs to help us with our campaign. And it's really outstanding. And it's coming around real good. And we are very sure we'll be able to get at least 50,000 signatures the way it's going. Yeah, so it's going real well. And the people are really happy about it, especially when they hear you're an independent.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, let's delve into some of the questions here. The first question is, what are your ideas on how to reduce the spending in Washington? Well,
the spending in Washington is going rampant. We all know that. And what we need to do, basically, is to balance the federal budget. If you want to cut spending, you need to balance the federal budget. And there's a way to do that. I have a tax plan that's called a flat tax that will balance the federal budget instantaneously and get rid of 2/3 of the IRS at the same time and reduce the General Accounting Office by about 1/3. Doing that, you cut spending right away, and you know now where you can cut. We need to cut spending in our procurement. When the government goes out and searches for products, we have to make sure that they get the best buys. We have to make sure that the pork belly is not there like the bridge to nowhere. People spend millions of dollars on that, our tax dollars, and we're not getting anything for it. We must make sure that we get the right product for the right price. That's paramount. And with a balanced budget, now we know where to cut. We can cut spending dramatically. We can cut in any office that needs to be cut, and we can cut properly and intelligently.
Well, let me ask you a question that a lot of people would ask to follow up. They said, well, how can you get elected if you don't bring home the bacon?
Well, you're going to bring home the bacon because as an independent, just like Senator Lieberman, in fact, we've contacted his office, and he said, keep going the way you're doing it. You're doing the right thing. Our vote is going to be in demand because we are an independent. We are going to want to do the things that the citizens of our state and our country want done. We're not going to have to bow down to the special interest groups, and we're not going to have to bow down to either party. We're going to represent the citizens, and therefore the vote is going to be sought after us to vote the right way the citizens want. That's what's happening to Joe Lieberman right now. If you follow what's happening in his campaign, after talking to his chief of staff the other day, they're in the process of trying to make things right, okay, for the people. And that's what we want to do.
Okay, fair enough. Would you be in favor of any legislation that actually caps federal spending or ties spending to GDP?
Well, if you're going to tie the spending to GDP, or you're going to tie the spending to anything, no matter what you tie it to, if you don't have the money to pay for it, it's not going to help. Okay? If you're going to have a budget of $3.7 trillion as we have now, before we have the health care, okay, and let's just say you're going to tie the spending to the gross domestic product, well then, no matter what it is, if you don't have the money, you can't pay for it. So in my tax plan that we've talked about, flat tax plan, which will balance the budget, it's pretty basic. You take the total income of everybody in the United States, which is $33.2 trillion, and the debt or the budget of the country is $3.7 trillion. You divide the two and you get 11.1%. That's all you pay on gross income. In the budget is the payment on the federal debt. In the budget is the Social Security and the Medicare payment. In the budget is the arms to defend our country and to run everything that the government needs to run. But it's only 11.1% on your gross income. There is no more Social Security tax taken out of your check. Corporations do not have to pay the matching Social Security. When you take your family to Yosemite National Park, it's free to get in. It's all in the budget. You go to the gas pump to get your gas, no more 17 cents a gallon. It's in the federal budget.
So you're saying across the board, basically a little over 11%
Right.
for everyone pays in the United States.
But that's on the top line, okay? Now, in a tax return, you have other lines where other income is. And let's take the people on Social Security, for instance, okay? We're all worried about those folks because, you know, they worked hard and they're getting their Social Security money. Now, they do not have to pay tax on their Social Security money because that's on line about 20 or something on the tax return. It's not on the top line. So the dollar amount that they're taking out of their check before they get it for their insurance now is added back in. So they actually get a raise.
Okay, but half the federal budget comes from the payroll tax and the other half comes from income tax. Are you eliminating the payroll tax? Or are you
we're eliminating all federal taxes, everything.
Okay.
You're eliminating everything. You're just taking the total budget, just like you do in your household here.
Yep.
You take the budget that you have, you take the income that you make, you divide the two, and it's 11.1%.
Okay.
It's that way, and it makes it accessible for everybody.
Math, and it sounds like you're saying pretty much anybody that makes income on the top line is going to contribute. So
right.
Right now, today, you have about 40-some% of the people that pay no income tax.
That's right.
Some of those will have to pay then.
They're not going to like. They're the ones that aren't going to like because now they're going to have to pay. Everybody's been taking the deductions so they don't have to pay. Right. So you and I pay. Right. Now they will also pay, but they're going to pay 11.1%.
Right.
Guys making millions of dollars are going to love it because they're not going to have to take their money and hide offshore and think that they're going to get caught.
Right.
11.1% is beautiful for living in our country.
Okay.
Especially when we take care of our elderly.
So what if a president gets into office and decides, well, I'm going to have a $3 trillion budget, I'm going to have a $5 trillion budget, so therefore we're going to have to raise the taxes on everybody up to say 15 or 18%.
Okay, that's where the people come in. Okay, that's where the people come in that elected me in an office. They come to me and say, we don't want this. Mm-hmm. You know, we can't have extraordinary expenses that we don't want to pay for. So therefore, they call their representatives, they call their senators, and they say, hey, let's not put this in. Don't forget, the Congress is the one that institutes the income tax, not the president.
That is
okay?
Correct. And the budget. Yep.
And the budget.
Yep.
Right. You know, it's a funny thing. There's 545 of them running 300 million of us. I think we can do something about it.
Yeah, you're right. Let's talk about healthcare a little bit. I'd like to understand what are some of the positive and negative aspects of our healthcare system today.
Okay, we know they're looking at having a socialized healthcare system in the country, and I don't agree with that at all. Our healthcare system today is the way it is, and it's good for everybody because it's privatized. We got to where we're at now, where people from all over the world come to our country to get medical help. And why is that? Why don't they go to Canada to get it? Why don't they go to England to get it? Why don't they go to Denmark to get it? Because they're socialized. They got to wait in line. We don't have to wait in line. We have our doctors. We're privatized. That's why we have health insurance. That's why your kids get good care. That's why at my age, I'm going to get good care. Under the socialistic program we've got in, I'm going to have to wait in line or maybe won't get any for my age. I'm going to have to go for euthanasia counseling because of my age. I don't want to do that. And we're going to get rid of our private insurance. Now, our system that we have now is the best in the world. Why do we want to disrupt it? It doesn't make any sense to disrupt something that's really good. Yes, not everybody has the option of getting it. But in my program and in my plans, I show a way that everybody can have health insurance in this country that wants it.